Hello, hello. All right, so let's start. Today, our mission statement is passion disciplined by faith. And we're going to start and open this chapter with why did I created Giggles and Smiles? When you see people that mirror where you were many years ago, um, you understand sometimes that laughter can help heal wounds that being too structured or strict don't allow people to flow or heal based on our obsessive overthinking or kind of guilt for our mistakes or etc. So I started Giggles and Smiles as a way to share a little fun within the healing process. Unfortunately, some people will take Giggles and Smiles as something fun or something to relax and take an ease about. Other people, if they're way too wounded and they have a structure personality where they feel the need of controlling, they will not see it as something fun. They will see it as a personal attack or a joke on them. Um, why are we speaking about Giggles and Smiles? Because the most important thing in life is never forget to smile and giggle about everything, even the worst things that happen to us are going to make you one day laugh about how ignorant and innocent, or I would say immature, you were in life. But if you keep on putting that guilt and that pressure on you because you just want to be a certain figure in front of the world or in front of other people or in front of your family, whatever, then the more you force people to respect you, the less respect you're going to receive, because you're going to be such a structured person that no one is going to be open to speak to you vulnerably, because they know that what's coming right beside it or behind it is going to be criticism because of that structure. And unfortunately, when we're raised in families that are dysfunctional, we are criticized for everything we do, and we're always pressured to become something better than what they think we are or whatever. You forget that not everything has to be taken so seriously. And I used to be that type of person when I was younger. I used to be the mother of the group, the one that would tell everybody to lower their voices, because that's how I was raised. Not because I didn't want to have fun. It was that supposedly I was being considerate with others. And then it got to a point where I realized that that was not who I was. It was what I was taught. And unfortunately, it was something that was always to just feel that you're not bothering another, but it's not because of respect. It's mostly because of what would they say about me if I am the loud person in the room? What will people will tell about you if you're the one that laughs the hardest? And I never left that part of me aside. I can laugh so loud that I don't give a crap who likes it or not. I sometimes been told you laugh like a witch, and I'm like, do you even know if a witch existed or ever existed? So everything is depicted by what people believe is right or wrong. Listen, if you laugh from the bottom of your heart, not hypocritically, but really from within, not only your belly's gonna hurt, you're not gonna control the tone, the loudness of it. So people need to stop being that stuck up. And I created Giggles and Smiles to remember to people that not everything has to be so keen in structure, that it is okay to actually feel joy for everything you do, that you don't have to control how everyone is looking at your situation. Why? Because you're giving them power over your life. You're allowing them to lift or downplay your emotions. You're allowing them to make you feel more pressured to be someone who you're not. So I created Giggles and Smiles in that time with hopes of a specific person understanding that sometimes we need to take things lighter. And even if it backfired, that's who I am. And I love my personality, regardless of having a condition that at times make me a little bit explosive. I love the way I am. I love the way I love. I love the way I see compassion and unconditional love in others. And I love the way that I may understand people that went through the things that I went through and not feel offended at times about what they do, unless you can discern that what you think was a joke becomes a true attack. And when that happens, you know it because the energy changes, and you know that people use boasting or boastful comments to make you feel confident enough that you feel vulnerable or open in front of them, and then they get information out of you and use it to literally try to diminish you because they didn't like the way maybe you approach them or things like that. And I heard this from few people, and I believe this to be the most hypocritical bullcrap ever. I've heard that in order to be civil, you have to learn how to make people feel good by boasting their ego a little bit and making them feel understood so you can get something out of them. That's the most hypocritical bullcrap I've ever heard, because that means that that person is manipulating every circumstance in their life to go their way. And I disagree with that approach. If I tell something to people and it makes them boast, is because I have admiration for them, not because I am bombarding them of God or gaslighting them with bullshit. If I feel that something the person did make me change my perception, I will actually give them a compliment. And even if people think that was a boastful way to make them feel the best, I don't do shit just for doing it. I do what I do because I truly feel it. But a lot of people is so used to this ridiculous boast the ego of others to get from them what you want, then they got used to the game and they think that everybody is the same. So I understood that I don't need to be accepted by who I am or how I am. I need to live happy with what I know about who I am, and the things that others say about my approach or about me. I learned with Jesus to understand that the majority of the time, they're just reflections of how bad they feel about themselves. I never realized that at times when I would say I will react to defend myself, it wouldn't look like I was a person that was always negative and talking whatever, until I realized and saw the game for what it was. And it's funny because the mission statement about this moon cycle going into Scorpio is beautiful. Passion, disciplined by faith. I always had faith that Abba will allow me to see more that I needed to see. So I understood not only who was who in the game, but also what were their hurt and pain. So at one point in my life, whenever I had the okay, I could share with these people something that may help them see the world through the eyes of Jesus and how I perceive people. We don't have enemies. If you believe you have an enemy, then it means that you are so hurt in life that you think that everybody's just against you. And I was there, and when I got triggered and my PTSD made me feel more overwhelmed, obviously that is an automatic reaction. So I started not trusting anything from anyone and separated myself from the entire world, not because I wanted to be in hermit mode, because my body needed it, my energy, my soul, my heart needed it. Why? Because I never stopped trusting Jesus and the teachings of Abba and what he had in store for me. Um, there is a mission and a vision that he planted on me many years ago. There was a moment where everything got so, I would say, hasty, that I saw so much dissonance in the surroundings that I realized two things. When CV-19 came in, it came in to place everyone in a panic mode. I saw it as a blessing in disguise because it gave me time to work in my music that I wanted to work for many years, and I didn't have the time. Um, Yet when I started to do the movement, it was beautiful because I opened myself to try to help people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of type of different energies out there. Some that are pure and nice, some that are not. And then it gets a moment when all the mix of energies do a little number on you until you focus back on Jesus and the mission, and they help you with discerning who had what energy and what was the purpose behind all of it. So, a beautiful thing that I see with this rituals of the moon is not only the ability that we can have of changing our perception and stop being so stuck up, as well as reviving our joy and stop being so anal and serious about every single detail. Because when you get into a point where everything has to be structured, controlled, and seriously placed in a specific order, that's not order. That is fear. And people that cannot discern that will always remain in the victim standpoint, because there's not going to be a chance that they can see love within themselves so they can share it without the need of being defensive. And it's funny because you can understand a person that says they're serious or whatever, and listen to the tone of how they ask questions and understand that they're not serious at all. They're just scared. So it's beautiful that the passion disciplined by faith came up in the Scorpio moon, because The Scorpio moon is going to bring obsessive, passionate, and investigative nature into us. But if you take that, let's say for the twin flame journey, if you take that within the control side of your shadow, it's not going to go nowhere. Abba has taught me that you need to be into your faith, being anchored by actions that lead you to joy. If you're going to take everything that is being said as a giggle or smile, not sarcasm or jokes, but giggles or smiles as something that is an attack, then you're not going to be in alignment. You're not going to be in obedience. And you're not going to have spiritual clarity because you're going to be defensive. So Proverbs 16 says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. If you read the whole chapter, you may have better insight about it. So let's see. No, I'm not interested. Yeah. I think that this is nice because this is something that we have to understand. Arrogance, pride, and control and fear are all ego-based. Yet joy, laughter, and a kind heart is all love-based through the teachings of Jesus. Unfortunately, people say if you poke the bear too much, the bear is gonna whatever. I believe that in the animal side of it, yes, animals are not people who has wisdom or a mind of their own. They are instinctive by nature. The same happens with people that are hurt. They're instinctive by nature, so they get defensive, they get offended, and they get tantrumic. And that is understandable until certain point. And the point is where disrespect happens. And we all get into that point. And what Jesus wants to teach us with this change of moon is how to see the other side of the story. So focused devotion is not scattered obsession. Holy investigation is only seeking for the truth, not threats. Faith rooted discipline, action that builds joy. Purposeful passion is the passion that serves Abba, not fear. So why am I putting this in the opposite side of things? Because if you take these three energies of the Scorpio moon and you repurpose them for a purpose in your life, which is going within you and seeing those shadows of these three aspects and change them into a vision statement of joy as the fruit of courage, no one will be able to tamper not only with your joy, but with your decisions. And why is this important? Because you have to learn how to discern who is boasting or making you feel boastful by giving you false compliments because they want something from you, to someone that admires you and speaks to you with admiration, but also calls you in your bullcrap. So in this world, people are okay when they're being boasted about or cherished or, I don't know, applauded. But in the moment that you call and are straight up and say, hey, this behavior is not right? Then that is not the person that is good for you because of X, X, and Y, when that is the real person that is good for you because they're not willing to lie to make you happy. But if you want to live a lie, then go ahead and have around you this many people that boast your ego for you not to feel nothing but arrogant or prideful or egotistical, so they can get out of you whatever they want because you're falling for the trap. And that's what Jesus teaches us. Open your eyes, wake up, smell the coffee, because if you're surrounded by people like that, even in your own family, then you have to learn how to love yourself so you can actually take a stand and love yourself enough that you don't have to disrespect another or allow anyone to disrespect you. Not by pressing people into forcefully having to do what you want them to do in order to have everything aligned or look a certain way, but to care less about what anyone says about you because you know who you are. So, joy as a fruit of courage. It's a vision that embodies a joy that is earned, forged, and proven. You don't need to be given praises to know who you are, but if you are needing that to feel better about yourself, then you have not made peace with who you truly are within. Some people call it the monster within, right? We're good until we feel that somebody betrayed us. What is betrayal? Because no one can betray you if you respect boundaries, and no one can betray you if you have boundaries. Now, if you're used to having people always, I will say, boast your ego, then unfortunately you have to relearn who to trust. And that's why I prefer to go if you're in doubt, go the Jesus route, right? And I put all my faith and trust in Him for Him to give me the right discernment so I can understand who were those around my life that were falsely boasting my ego just to be seen or have a space to absorb my energy because they disliked me deep inside. And I don't care because I don't have to be $100 bill to be the favorite of anyone. I just have to be the favorite in the eyes of Abba, and I have to know who I am so I can be okay with who I am. So when you try to help people understand that part for themselves and they're not open to listen to the truth, then the truth cannot set us free because it's going to make us fight the duality. So we all go through duality. That's why I don't judge people when they go through duality, but also that is how I learn to discern their energies to know if a person truly changed or is just faking it till they make it. And I have this gift since I'm a very little girl, and when I needed to fit in, then I played along with the role because it was supposed to be something civil to do. But now I don't have time to play the role of pretending because it gets tiring to know that people truly hate you because they're talking crap about you behind your back. But when they face you with this stupid smile that you just want to look at them and you're like, do you think that I really believe what the crap you're saying? And I'm like right inside of me saying all the time, Jesus, I hope that one day they can learn to love themselves enough so they don't feel jealous or bitter about not only their lives, but who they are or who they became. And when I saw myself acting like the people that was attacking me, that was the end of the game, because that's not who I am. And I'm not going to accept any lie told about me, because I know my heart. And whoever doesn't understand it or trust it, it's fine. But then I also learn that if you actually react, you also lose, because you leave your energy in the hands of the ones that manipulated the whole entire situation in order to make it look like you were the problem. So there is beautiful lessons in all this. I'm not talking from grudges or hurt. I'm talking about joy of understanding all of this. So in a way, I can free myself from feeling that imposed need that society had on us, that tell us that we have to be supposedly civil by accepting low vibrational frequencies or people that speak to us with arrogance or ego of themselves. And it's beautiful because you don't have to even answer anymore. Like, there was a post today saying, what would you do if somebody tells you, I hate you? I don't know why I felt inclined to answer. And I said, oh, I am. Oh, like, what was it that I put? Isn't it difficult to see the mirror about the things we hate about ourselves? Something like that. And then I say, and then I put something else, but it was like kind of the Giggles and Smiles. So it remind me of Giggles and Smiles, because they say in nice words something to someone that tells you I hate you. So I thought that the best way to say something nice was to say, "Oh yeah, it's so difficult to see like yourself in another," and then just like ignore it and said, "What a blessing," and keep on walking, right? Because that doesn't bother me. But if you hate me, it's because you hate yourself, because you cannot find enough love to understand that there's no enemies in life. So, yeah, God teaches you so beautiful things. Jesus teaches you so beautiful things. But we're so consumed in the stupidity of societal standards that are not even real to begin with, that you miss the best opportunities of your life to have something real, true, and sincere, just because you're scared about what people is going to say about you. So yeah, that's fun. So the vision that sees Scorpio energy as passion purified, not paranoia, intensity with direction, not spiraling, investigation with purpose, not suspicion, faith into motion, not hope as wishful thinking. I always said that if you hope for something, you're not wanting it. Not because hope is a bad thing, is because the content of the hope itself is uncertain, and in sovereignty by the power that we have and authority we have, hope is not a word that you use. It's a stage of awaiting, and people should not use the word hope vaguely, because unfortunately, hope is not knowing, hope is wishing. And we do not hope as wishful thinking. We have faith that it's in motion, because it doesn't matter what happens around the world, it doesn't matter how it looks outside of you. If you know if something is meant for you, it's never going to pass you by. But we get into the habit of stressing because we don't see it. And that's where faith gets tainted. That's why I always said, I know I am experiencing a twin flame journey. I do not put a name on the energy because I'm not going to name it Juanito de los Petranco ni Pedrito de los Cuadrote. Why? Because I will be hoping that that is the energy that I want to receive and rejecting the true gift of Abba. What is meant for you and what is stored for you in your vault is something that no one will ever be able to tamper with when you're stubborn and knowledgeable about energies and about how to play the game of life. And I always said that I am an underdog because the more you play a game with me, the easier for me to see all of your tactics. I learned it at a very young age when one person tried to teach me how to play chess, and I was winning every game in a row until I got bored. I said, I don't want to play this anymore. And they're like, why? Because I know your technique. And then I kept on moving. And I never played chess. I never played chess anymore because it wasn't fun for me. And that's why I have a multi-dimensional mind, because if I figure something, then I'm done with it and I'm out and I move to a next thing because my mind likes to solve problems. That's why I love puzzles. So sometimes that is the way that I solve my own jiggle puzzles. Anywho, let's move along with Scorpio moon and the path for today. Instead of being obsessive, be devoted. It's not the same. You cannot obsess that everyone has to become a Christian because that is indoctrination and that is judgment. You got to be devoted into knowing who you are in Christ and being to your brothers as you are with yourself. That means that you have no right to judge another or to point the finger at them. And I learned that from Abba when I was indoctrinated and pushing things on people. And I said, this doesn't feel good. It feels like it's not me. I don't like this. And then I made it a joke kind of thing because I didn't want to be like forceful about it. But at that time, I said, this is not devotion. This is a pattern of dogmatism that I am not gonna accept in my life. Because I don't care what religion you have. I don't care if you're handsome, if you're not, if you are tall, petite, small, big. I don't give a crap. I see people for who they are in their soul because I can see their soul before I see their heart. Yet the heart is something that is triggered by the mind, and a pure heart could see those traits of the mind and the conditioning. And that's why people always say, you cannot be nice to people because you're gonna get run over. You know what? Let them. Everything you steal from somebody, everything you take from others, at one point or another, you're going to have to pay it. It doesn't matter if it is in this lifetime or the next. It's not my responsibility that you pay for what you did. That's with you and your conscience if you have one. If not, you're going to live another cycle of life where you're going to have a bigger lesson to learn. So for me, it's all about learning how to balance the passionate way of learning that I have. So the purpose of this existence is for me to clear that karma and be able to go to the 12 rings. But that is something that I understood since I was a little kid. And I am not going to explain it to anyone that doesn't have a depth to them. Not because I think that I'm better than anyone, just because I don't want to I don't want people to think that I'm being confronting them, because I don't need to confront what I feel in my soul. So learn to understand your soul enough that you understand when your soul is the one that is triggering an alarm, and learn to understand how your vagus nerve reacts to old triggers, so you can discern. And how do you do this? By investigating. I started investigating what was the relationship with the three lobes of the mind, what was the relationship with the vagus nerve, why was I reacting instead of responding. And that brings you to mature your emotions, because your faith is anchored in understanding the words of Jesus and not indoctrination. So you can be free, because he brought us unconditional love for you to be free in this world and use it as your step tool, and not fall for the traps of ego. So I at times don't laugh in a way of being mocking anyone, but I smirk at times with a true kind heart when I hear people talking about a matrix that they don't even understand what it means. And they play this, I have so much knowledge, but they still trapped in the matrix by all the things that you see they do. And the same happened to me. And when I see myself from above, I say, oh my God, I was so asleep. And then I still see how at times I get in the duality portion. And I'm like, okay, it is a journey. It takes time. You have to rebuild your nervous system. You got to rewire your thoughts. And that's why the investigative part of it gives you discerning, and the emotional part of it allows you to understand what faith and true unconditional love is. So when obsession becomes devotion, you stop judging another and you start being compassionate by understanding where they are in the journey. That doesn't mean that you think that you're better than anyone. That means that you are aware and you can be present or not based on the circumstance. Passion becomes fuel when aligned with your purpose. Then you have your North Star and you know exactly who and what comes with you to that journey, because it's a journey that cannot be diminished by the external noise of the world. And Jesus said it. You can be a prophet or you can be whatever. And if you're sharing the word that I am teaching you, you're going to be persecuted. Why? Because everybody got stuck in the Old Testament. Everybody got stuck in their old ways. Nobody accepted the change he brought to the world. And they went back into indoctrinating people to continue living the same way, divided, segregated, and in battle with one another and themselves. So that is part of a life that I left behind. And that is part of a purpose that my heart and my soul knows is the future of humanity. And this is coming. I don't, and regardless of who wants to accept it or not, it is coming, because the false veil is going to fall pretty badly soon. And as I said, underneath the earth, they're going to find the true scriptures that have been hidden for ages. Even if new things are coming left and right, some are good, some are not, there are now the purple dragon energy, which is the energy of the purple star and the emperor. That energy is going to be channeled very, very much. And a lot of people is going to start understanding, because that is the energy that lives within us. If you see the depiction of Christ with the hands pointing forward, and from the hole in his hand, there is a red ray and a blue ray coming out. If you join those two colors, that's purple. And the reason why they say to be scared about the purple flame is because if you unite those two colors and you do see yourself empowered by that purple light, that is your true identity, they have to make it evil so you never find it. So I know I speaking ahead of time. I know that's gonna come in the future, and a lot of people is gonna understand a lot of what Saint Germain spoke about, and they're gonna understand her Mistress Magistus and all the stuff that people have been making or saying is heretic, but they will understand then the truth behind Jesus' claims and what is truly Jesus said and what is not. And that is beautiful because it's coming soon. I will see it probably the ends of the 27, coming to the 28. A lot of things are going to change in this year. That's why there's a lot of havoc happening outside of us to keep us distracted from actually finding who we are. But I don't care anymore. um Anyone has the right to think whatever they want to think. I respect every single person and their ideals or religion or whatever. I don't care what religion you have. If you respect me as a human being and you understand that I have the right to have a good heart and still think the way I think, that is what's important for me. That's why over here everyone is welcome. I don't care what denomination you think you are. I don't care if you think, I don't know, like, honestly, this channel is for everyone. This channel is for those that are tired to fake it, knowing that it's not going to help you. So this is the path of true joy, not emotional hype, but spiritual strength. And one of the declarations that one psalm says that is actually very nice is, let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee. This is literally how you wait in the transformation. You don't know everything. The invitation was for us to learn together. The invitation wasn't for us to think that we were enemies. It was mostly to understand what things he needed us to fix in our lives in order for us to understand what faith over fixation is, what action over anxiety is, what true over imagination is, and what joy over emotional chaos feels like. And that's why I placed a Ho'oponopono or whatever you call it in there, because no matter who you think is your friend or foe, you always will have to do that prayer towards that person. Why? Because if you do not forgive, you will have resentment. And if you have resentment, you will get diseases. And if you get diseases, then your heart will be affected, because nothing can get in between what the soul is telling you to do. The more you deny what your soul is calling you to do, the more your heart will break, the more anxiety you will get, and the more distracted from being focused on the purpose of your life that you will be, because you will be easily persuaded by the worldly aspects of life. And I'm not talking religiously here, I'm talking true natural wisdom of your inner child, of yourself, of who you truly are, and not the false mask that you've been wearing all of your life. And it's no more fake it till you make it. It's either you are who you are, or you just prefer to continue to wear a costume in front of others and never stop the show. So it is beautiful to learn these things about God, about Jesus, about life, and about humanity, and about the forces that try to manipulate us from understanding our power. Why? Because when you are able to understand this, it's a life-changing moment. It's a moment where you know what battles you're going to fight and what battles are not yours to fight. And it's a moment where you understand that it doesn't matter what weapon is formed against you, it will never touch you because you will be chosen. So everyone is chosen, but not everyone accepts the mission. And that is something that is very important, not because you want to do it religiously, but because you want to be free. And if you want to be free, you have to be free of the criticism of the world. You have to be free of controlling anything. You got to be free to flow truly like water and not talk as if you are, but truly become water. And for humans is very difficult because of indoctrination, dogmatism, cultural beliefs, and societal norms and standards. So the moment you leave all that behind, you'll see how nobody can have not even 1 cent of being able to distort your energy. They can try, but in between your true heart and Jesus' teachings, there is true freedom. A lot of people confuse unconditional love or romantic, like partnership love, with true unconditional love. And that's not what I teach. True unconditional love is love your enemies as you love thyself. And if you cannot get there, then you're always going to have enemies. You're always going to have diseases. You're always going to have something stuck in your life. And you're not going to open the abundance channel because you're always going to be competitive and you always have to be on top. And yes, it's good to be a bit competitive in certain aspects of life when it is with a purpose of bettering yourself, but not when it is with the purpose of competing with another. Because if you're not in athletic stuff, then competition has nothing to do with unconditional love. And unconditional love is a descent with purpose, searching the light of the faith, unbothered or let's say, controlled or unstructured faith, which is that one of a little child. That's why you need to return to joy through action. Laugh more, stress less, giggles and smiles. Don't take everything so serious. And trust me, I've been there. That's why I understand people that are like that and I try to help them. But I also understood that I was there as well and I overreacted when people would try to do that in my life, or not understand it or take it personal. So that's why I don't get offended. It's not that I don't care that people disrespect me, is that they're not disrespecting me. They're disrespecting themselves because what they're doing is they're just unmasking who they are in front of everyone. And at the end, everyone will see how evil their plan was. And that's fine with me. I didn't do it. Everybody did make decisions. And yeah, everybody did what they did. And everybody has to live with what they did. And those who don't care, then they do have to still work with continuing in the same circles or cycles over and over again. So the true nature of Scorpio, I said it was obsessive and changed that to being devoted or right instead of obsessive, and then passionate purposefully, investigative as discerning. So the way you get to the truth is understanding the true teachings of Jesus so you can stop seeing everyone or anyone as an enemy. Because at the end of the row, the person that always wanted to keep control and wanted to fake it till they make it, at one point or another, took their masks off because they were so entitled and so in their ego that they didn't even realize that they were actually just showing what was hurting within them. And we all go through that. That's why I don't see that as something bad. I see it as something necessary for us to truly go through the journey of spiritual awakening. And I'm not saying I'm fully awakened, because I will be the first liar. Um, I believe that I'm in a path. I believe I'm in a very beautiful journey. And I believe that everything that Abba has taught me and all the channelings that have happened is because I've made a better connection with consciousness and my true wisdom within and my true heart, instead of allowing the lies of the world to continue to damage my heart. So I hope you all get there, because it's beautiful to see the world with different eyes and stop being chained to what anyone says. It's so beautiful and so liberating that you're gonna stop caring about so many unimportant things in life, that you're gonna start really being joyful and happy with what you have and where you are. So what I will do tonight is, as the moon enters in Scorpio, I would think that I would step into deep waters willingly. Stop having fear of seeing the monster within you. The monster within you is nothing more than the person that is hurt, that if you don't love them, then you're not accepting who you are. And you're always going to be putting one mask in front of the other to try to protect yourself. And if you live in that protection, then you're never going to be open enough or vulnerable enough to share your truth with anyone. Don't drown in your emotions, but discover what is true. How many people have told you you're not worthy and you believe it? Why? Just because they have more money, or they have a better car, or they have a better job? Who cares? That's not it. They only say that because they believe they have the right to. But when you remove that right from them and you're not fighting against what they do, then you're integrating your heart. You're integrating the experience as people that were hurt also. I always say new riches at times start boasting about how much money they have, but they don't learn how to invest, and then they lose it all. You can have it all and lose it in one day. So they can boast all they want, but if they don't know what they're doing, they're just going to go back into zero or have to grind again and again and again because they didn't do good investments. Now, people that start growing and start making more money, they actually also take courses and classes on things that will be financially intelligent to invest in, and not things that will dry up at a certain point. Move with the trends of the water, but not move with the, I would say, blindness of somebody promising you heaven when they don't have not even the earth. So there's a lot of things you can learn about this moon ritual. And do not spiral into obsessions. Been there, done that. I know me. Based on one of my conditions, I get a little bit obsessive with things, but I understood how I can repurpose that obsession into getting more information and then learning pathways into healing myself so I can help others heal. So instead of obsessing on anything outside of you, try to devote yourself into being fully who you are and not feeling that you're too much. Being fully who you are, but start respecting others and yourself. Being truly who you are and not need the approval or validation of anyone outside of you. Being truly who you are to understand that it doesn't matter if you are orphan, if you were adopted, if you were rejected. There is a reason for a rejection. It could be that you're not ready to receive what you have to receive, or it could be that that is not the person that is there for you. And if you get stuck on that path, if you get stuck on a certain idea, which trust me, obsession can get you there mostly on a twin flame journey, then you don't do the healing that you have to do to be able to open your heart to receive the energy that needs to come into your life. So you cannot receive what you're not in alignment with. You need to focus on you so you can actually balance your energy and align with what's meant to be yours. Not to fear what lies beneath, but investigate with faith why you have these habitual patterns, and you'll find love. You'll find love because you're gonna find release. And family constellations is amazing. There are videos out there on the 6 archetypes of the family structures. Everyone should listen to it. I only have one version in Spanish. Oh, sorry, but if you search it, you'll find it. And then Scorpio teaches me that joy is not found on the surface. It's actually excavated, because if you don't uncover throughout your courage and honesty and your spiritual discipline who you truly are in his eyes, or what Jesus came to teach you so you are free, then you will not have the humility to tell him, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts." Why? Because you're going to be scared about him lurking into your thoughts. And that's why you need to understand that when a thought comes over and over and over and over again, it's not hunting you for a bad purpose. Is there for you to say, okay, I hear you. In this moment, I am focusing in myself and understanding what am I going through and what is the lesson. So right now, even though I accept you're there, I am not going to be fearful to stay in that thought. I will follow through and look within so I understand what the thought wants to teach me. So tonight, it's a good statement to say, tonight I allow myself to be searched, not by paranoia, not by imagination, but by the love of Jesus. So, the descent, entering the hidden room. The hidden room is your head. If you do not understand your thoughts and why you have your patterns, then you're never going to accept your shadow. And if you don't integrate your shadow, then you're never going to have a nice partnership with anyone, not even with people around you, because you're either gonna be defensive, or you're gonna feel interest like introvert, or you're gonna be a full extrovert. And if you don't align your emotions, and you don't understand your emotions, and you don't align yourself with the true energy that you want to experience, which is a true partnership with true unconditional love, you're not going to see the good things in the little things that life has to offer. And you're going to be seeking for the big things in life, and you're going to lose your life seeking for something that you're not going to find, because you cannot find yourself in another until you see who you are. So that is beautiful. So you can close your eyes and descend inward past the noise, which is the thoughts, past the stories, which is all the lies that everybody had told you, past the fears, which is built by the lies that you were taught, and through your depth of the soul and the truth that lays within you, which is your true kid's heart that was pure and saw no evil. Scorpio opens the door to the hidden room, the place where motives, wounds, and desires live unfiltered. You need to filter that so you can understand. That's why a lot of people say you don't seem to have been going through the things you went through. A lot of people will not believe my stories. Why? Because they didn't live it, or because they probably will never come the other side with an, I would say, understanding. But that's what happens when you trust Jesus. So here I do not hide. Here I do not pretend. Here I stand in faith, not hope, because faith moves, faith acts, faith transforms. And I whisper to myself, this is not a request, this is a commitment. Why? Very simple. Everybody wants to be loved exactly for who they are, but they don't accept who they are. So if you don't accept who you are, how do you think that you're going to be reciprocated when you don't value the truth of who you are? It doesn't matter how difficult you think you are, how complicated you think you are, how immature you think you are. If you find love for yourself and respect another, that only is going to come by you truly believing that you deserve the kind of love that you always hope and wish for. And that is not a request, that is a commitment. And if you cannot commit to it, then stop trying to find that love, because you're not going to find it in no one if you don't see it in yourself. And that's what I was trying to show some people, because I admired their art, but I also saw behind the veil the hurt. And I truly know that if any of them just looks within themselves, they're going to find the same love that Jesus has given to us. They're going to see God in other people, and they're going to see how much more everyone can do with their own talents. I once was told that why I don't sing with the voice that I have, because sometimes I think that I have a higher purpose than just singing. Maybe one day I will dedicate myself to just create music, but right now I have a commitment with Abba, and I have a commitment with a mission that started a few years ago, and no one will get in the middle of that mission, because it's what my soul came here to do. So very soon we're gonna start the series of videos for artists to be able to create from emotions and perform from emotions, but step out of the stage, not being juggled by emotions. It's very important that people understand, as an artist, you are in repetitive mode, because you create a song, based on your story of love or what your soul is asking you to sing, etc., etc. And you're always repeating the same song that is a sad song because that's how you connect to people. But if when you get off a stage, you do not leave that feeling behind, or you do not do the introspection that you need to do in order to open the door of your hidden room and heal, then you're going to relive that moment every single day of your life, every time you step on stage to sing that song. And it's going to become another cross you have to bear. And you're supposed to leave that cross behind. So, yes, artists do use emotions to connect with people, but they also need to learn how to get out of the emotion feeling so they can live a true free life. And we're going to speak about that. And I'm going to have a different approach to it. I don't care who copies the idea, I don't give a crap. At the end of the row, nobody can do it like I do it, because we're all unique. Not because I'm boasting, not because I think that I'm better than anyone, but everyone has their own fire. And for me, fire is truth, not lies. All right, people, we'll see you soon. And if you know anyone that needs this video, please share. You never know who's suffering in silence. Love you. Bye-bye.